What's up, guys? Mad Rambles, episode 54. So, being a Sunday, as always on Sundays, try find two more keys I can improve on that I'm going to carry on and focus on in the coming weeks, and in particular the next week, whilst also carrying on the things I've done in the previous week. So, I'll say the things I've done in the previous week, then I'll get into what I'm going to implement this week. So, coming up with an idea, enthusiasm, video professionalism, going into detail and talking about topics, a video plan, being more seated and less off-putting by my movements, and a good title, posting immediately after doing rather than waiting to try show more urgency, looking more into the camera, rewatching my videos, planning out my videos, stopping the ums, ers, and useless words. And the reason why I say these every week or every day rather, is so that I can sort of remind myself of what I'm trying to achieve, and also if anybody watching can sort of call me out and see what I'm trying to focus on, and if they think, oh yeah, you've said like fucking 20 million times this video, call me out on it. Anyway, I'm going to get better. So what am I going to improve on this week? Improving this week is to slow down and talk in a less rushed way. I feel like because of maybe it being 10 minutes, trying to get everything out, I speed up and I don't articulate better. Articulate and express my points in a clear and concise way. So that is the second thing. So the first being slow down and talk in a less rushed way. Second being articulate my points clearer, so that it is easier for the viewer to understand and digest, and just flows better. It's a video that flows better, doesn't make you feel rushed, doesn't look rushed, and it's almost like you gain nothing from it because I just mumble and talk a load of mumbo jumbo for 10 minutes. So, episode 54, today's title is Search for Knowledge. Within that, I'm going to talk about why searching for knowledge is the best return on your time, how to acquire knowledge better than anybody else, combining self-thought and new knowledge, and the search for knowledge is never ending. As always, these are my opinions. Some I've acquired from people who are far greater than me in YouTube and business spaces, and I kind of like their ideas, so I'm just sort of regurgitating them on here because I think they're useful. These are things that I'm also going to try and implement in my life, and that I like and I agree with. So, why searching for knowledge is best return on your time? I talked about briefly before about how so many people just spend their money and spending their time on useless shit. Such useless shit. It's like you get a paycheck of $2,000 a month, $1,000 a month, $3,000 a month, and 1,000 goes on a mortgage, 1,000 goes on a car, 600 goes on new clothes, 300 goes on nights out, and then you're sat there left with 100, and you're like, oh, well, why am I always in this situation, in the same position in life? Why do I see people in Ferraris and whatnot? It's because they're spending their money on the wrong things. They're spending their money on finite resources, right? Stuff that if makes you feel great today, gone tomorrow. Instant gratification, stuff that doesn't really matter, but society deems as important, you know. Society's like, you can't get in the property ladder, so they just buy a house, right? And now they're left with this fat mortgage, barely have enough money to pay for it. Where instead, if they didn't save money to put down on the deposit, use the money for the deposit to acquire new skills and new knowledge, then use that new knowledge to make more money, they wouldn't even need to have saved, really, right? And they wouldn't even need to constantly work their job to pay for that mortgage, because their new knowledge and skills would do it tenfold, right? And they'd be earning 20, 30 grand a month rather than earning 1. So, knowledge is the best return on your time, right? Like money, you have X amount of money per month if you're working a 9 to 5 or whatever job. You want to use that money to buy knowledge and resources and level up. Like a game, you want to do it to level up, constantly level up and level up and level up. So you're the boss, defeat the boss, and you win the game, right? And the game is life. And you never particularly win it, because the search for knowledge is never ending, in my opinion at least. You just find new things to learn. And I've heard from many rich and uber famous people and successful people, they say how you see something you want, you try and achieve it, climb that mountain, get to the top, you're like, yeah, and then you see another mountain peak over here. So you've got to climb all the way that as well. So that is what searching for knowledge is. It is never ending, and that is the beauty of it, because you can never be too good, or you can never complete it. It is always a search, and you can always get that feeling of trying to be better, which is a beautiful feeling in my opinion, and it is one of the reasons of living. I feel just to constantly try and get better in whatever facet that is, in whatever facet you deem worthy of your time, because ultimately, not just like our money, right? Or like our money, time is a valuable resource. But time is more valuable because it's finite. You can always get more money. You can work, get more money, do this, get more money. Time, you only have X amount, right? You don't know how much you're gonna ever get. No one knows how much you're gonna get. You can hope and predict on average you get this amount of time, but ultimately you never know. So you want to spend it in the most beneficial areas possible. And for me, that is acquiring knowledge. That is acquiring knowledge in whatever area you deem useful. So, how to acquire knowledge better than anybody else? If everybody's going to acquire knowledge, you sort of want to level up, right? You want to level up. You want to stand out from the crowd. I think there's a few ways you can do that. Not only is it reading and understanding and studying the works of people who have acquired knowledge through books and stuff, not just reading but actually studying the books, because that's the beauty of it. That's where reading becomes beneficial. Not if you're just reading and it goes in and out, it's useless. You actually have to study the books, right? Study what they're saying and then apply it, because most people don't apply it. Most people just read it, go, oh yeah, that's cool, forget about it. No, you have to study it. Why are they saying that? What does this lead to? And then how does this benefit me? And then you find out how it benefits you, so then go and plug it into your life and say, all right, cool, yeah, oh no, it's actually better like this. Oh no, it's not as good as this, blah, 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 until you iterate and then find the way in which it benefits your life the most. And most people don't do that. Most people just read and never act on something. So act on something. All right? And then the next thing is get varying viewpoints. Most people will, and this is in particular for things like politics and just general opinions, right? People will get opinions on one side. You war in Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine, and they'll be like, oh yeah. Ukraine newspaper said this, and this. Is it true? Oh yeah, Ukrainian newspaper said. Well, obviously they're going to be supporting Ukraine, so it's going to be slightly biased. Likewise, if you read a pro-Russian piece, it would be slightly biased, or very biased even. So what you want to do is you want to collect knowledge from a variety of resources, compile them together, find out what are their similarities, what are their differences, and then use your own mind to ask, all right, what is their agenda? Why would they be saying this? How do they benefit from it? How can I benefit from it? And that way you can actually understand and digest what they're saying. And then you go and what you do, you study that and apply it to your life. And then you go out and do it. You actually implement it. It's that implementation which is the key. You learn by doing. You don't learn by reading and writing. You learn by doing. It's like if you're writing copy, you can write as much copy as you want. And this is something I realised in my life. I write a copy every day, but every day I've done 2 hours of deep work for the last month or whatever on this copy, or whatever it is, on this specific piece. Yeah, I'm really good at it. How do I know if I'm good at it? Yeah, cool, I can send it to people and put it in group chats and whatever. People can read it, and that's great. I can get feedback. But you only know if it's good if it actually sells for your target market. Because what you write for a beer company might be exceptionally different to what you write to a fitness brand, right? Clothing brand. So the way you write is very different because your prospects are very different people. So you have to be specific to your niche, right? And that is done through trial and error and some sort of research in understanding who you're writing for. So You need to actually implement things in your life. Actually do it. See how it performs. See how others react to it. See how you react to it yourself. Maybe you do something and think, shit, this makes me feel bad. This makes me feel horrible. Like I don't like it. Trust your gut. Try something else. Try something else. Sort of like tweak it a little bit. See if that works. See if that doesn't. And then come to a conclusion that benefits you. So, been good call. 10 minutes. I've been Keenan. Peace.